How's it hanging, folks? I'm Lindsay Geektron, and this is LolKing's League Trends for the week of December 2nd, 2014, sponsored by the Warlords of Draenor, which is available now. Take your place on the front lines with the latest expansion from World of Warcraft, and get your garrison all nice and shiny and fixed up for the holidays. Because priorities. I could stop anytime. This week's featured champions include Xin Zhao, Amumu, Pantheon, Hecarim, Fiddlesticks, and Kalista. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. This week, the top 5 champions with the biggest increased pick rates are Warwick, Pantheon, Master Yi, Xin Zhao, and Nunu. Win now, not later. Xin Zhao is a safe champion for players to learn the new jungle on. He has sustained from his battle cry ability at level 1, and is generally easy to play. Xin brings both engage and disengage to his team, but has limited range. Players should think twice before picking up Xin Zhao into long-range mobile champions such as Jace, Janna, or Ziggs. Xin Zhao can put the pain on with a Skirmisher Saber, but a Ranger's Trailblazer is a reliable choice to keep your mana up in the jungle. The Devourer enchantment will give Xin Zhao more damage than the Warrior one. That's usually the only damage item he can get away with, but if you get rich, a Triforce, Ghostblade, or Bork can overwhelm the enemy carries. When playing against these slippery champions or when ganking enemies with Flash Up, then players should try and save Audacious Charge. Using it after escapes have been burned will keep you in melee. To triumph! Champions with the biggest decreased pick rates include Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, J5, Rammus, and Amumu. Amumu's losing friends again. The Sad Mummy has fallen on hard times after nerfs to his early jungle clear. Amumu is a tank and initiator, but he could also be a damage threat if he builds AP. Amumu used to rely heavily on the mana restoration from the old Spirit Stone, so pick up a Ranger's Trailblazer for today's jungle. It's popular to use AP items such as Azania's Hourglass or Riley's Crystal Scepter, but a Sunfire Cape or Frozen Heart will also give some damage. Amumu is simple to play and fits many teams, but has a hard time if he gets counter-jungled. Jungle camps only spawn once a minute in today's jungle, so invades are more painful than ever before. Be especially careful of champions like Nunu and Shaco, but there are many others that can also push Amumu out of his jungle and steal large monsters. Being unpredictable is your best defense, so study some of the new starting paths and pick one that keeps you safe. Increased win rates this week have Warwick at the top of the list, while Pantheon, Nunu, Karthus, and Akali follow up. Pantheon is a big-time bully in the jungle. He also can cheese by soloing the dragon. In fact, he can do it at level 1 with attack speed runes if he's left alone long enough. Rito, please. Pantheon is a fearsome early ganker and can engage from nearly anywhere, but struggles if he doesn't create early advantages. Pantheon clears the jungle with high health, so players should try and make the most of their early game power through ganks or invades. Pantheon has short-range targeted abilities. On these kinds of champions, movement speed is critical. Pick up early boots for ganking, and consider upgrading them to boots of mobility to speed around the map and close the gap. Pantheon enjoys the armor pen from the Warrior enchantment and a Brutalizer. A Ranger's Trailblazer is probably the best early option to spend less time farming and more time ganking, but a Stalker's Blade for Chilling Smite can be used to slow down enemies and get in range. Keep an eye out for Reigning Men on the Rift. Champions with the largest decrease in win rates this week are Rammus, Hecarim, Evelynn, Kha'Zix, and Urgot. Hecarim has taken a hit in the new jungle, but is holding on. The primary reason for this is the higher spawn times on camps and harder early clear. He is a champion designed to power farm and scale with items, but is weak in the first few levels. It's now harder for him to finish his expensive items since he has low health after clearing and therefore few chances to gank. Hecarim can be a potent engager and gets very tanky with a couple of items, but as mentioned when we last talked about the pony, he can struggle with knockbacks and slows. Champions like Kha'Zix or Lulu can keep Hecarim at arm's length and prevent him from engaging. Tenacity is therefore essential on Hecarim. Buy either Merc Treads or the Juggernaut enchantment for it. Triforce is one of his favorite items, but may be too expensive. If that's the case, buy a Spirit Visage or Frozen Heart and rely on cooldown reduction for your damage. Keep an eye out for the Shadow of War prancing around on the Rift. Champions with the biggest increased ban rates this week have Warwick up again, this time with an almost 67% increase from last week. Pantheon, Fiddlesticks, Aurelia, and Master Yi trail behind. Fiddlesticks has always been a solo queue nuisance and is stronger than ever in the new jungle. He brings loads of CC and damage, but is very fragile while not channeling Drain to restore his health. Knockbacks from champions such as Gragas or Janna can negate Fiddlesticks' ultimate Crow Storm. But another way to deal with him is to engage with long-range picks. Syndra and Thresh are two examples that can catch Fiddle before he has a chance to ulti. Fiddle likes the Magus enchantment, but the absolute most important item is Zhonya's Hourglass. The damage aura from Crow Storm will persist while Fiddle is invulnerable, and it buys time between cooldowns. He can die in an instant if hit with hard CC, so players need to have good timing when using the active from Zhonya's. We all know that move, don't we? Damn you, Fiddle shits. Finally this week, the champions with the biggest ban rate decreases are Rammus, Kha'Zix, Gnar, Lee Sin, and Kalista. The Spear of Vengeance is apparently not as vengeful as people first thought. He destroys the competition, but only at the bottom of the win rate column. Kalista is the only champion in the game that wins less than 40% of games played. Banning her is probably still okay though, it's just a ban against your teammates instead of your opponents. If you are brave enough to play Kalista, then pair her with a ranged support. The passive from her Sentinel ability requires both her and the Oathsworn ally to attack the same target within 1.5 seconds of each other. This is much easier to accomplish if the support has ranged attacks. Kalista's ultimate, Fate's Call, also works better with ranged champions. It might not seem that way at first, and she throws her ally into the enemy team, but they land at their maximum auto attack range. Most melee supports are already able to get into the enemy team on their own power. Most players like to rush an Infinity Edge on Kalista. A static Shiv will also stack quickly because of her passive and is the other popular choice. Keep in mind though that Kalista is still new and being figured out. Her win rate and item builds may change later as people learn the champion. And that does it for this week's episode. Please be sure you check back every week for the latest League of Legends picks, bans, and win rates. Please be sure you like and comment below and share this video around to all of your friends because 'tis the season and sharing is caring. Right? Right. Make sure you subscribe to LolKing's YouTube channel before you go. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitch TV at Lindsay Geektron. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.